Minutes later we will try it a few degrees east, but in rooms it's every time a little bit better to go minus degrees. Outside the rooms it would be better to go 2 or 3 degrees plus to north. I don't know why, but it is like this. So what I did else, because I didn't put the pyramid on the floor, I made me a small pendulum to find the point where we have to work. Well, and I will not be surprised if the principle would not work today, because since yesterday I had a lot of problems. Everything went a little bit failed, so let's look what we can do. Okay, normally we have to be a little bit carefully for these 2 wires, because if the pyramid is properly northed and if the position is okay and you have a good water line, so it can be that you have a great amount of static energy here now. But we have to put the pendulum away, because we don't need this now. And it's a kind of metal and it nerves. So it could theoretically, it could damage our power. So it's absolutely uneasy to make that all in a one-man company. That's the problem of all solists. Well, okay, now I had to change a lot of things. The first thing is the camera angle. Now I hope you can see better into the pyramid. When I get rich the next time, I will buy a good camera with a good wide angle. My camera is a little bit weak for this kind of productions, but I hope it will be okay. And the second thing I have changed absolutely, maybe you can see it, I made 2 small pieces of wire out. The black one for the ground and the blue one, of course, you know it, for the power. So we hope to get some power. The most important thing we have to do now is we have to ground our pyramid, and for this I have a special cable to ground. It's a special loading cable for cars, and if I will find it, I will install it. If you have some mess in your shack, it can happen sometimes that you will search some things and you don't find them. In my case, I wanted to search for a special cable. I don't know the real name in English. You know, where you can load 2 cars together to give them starting help. But I didn't find it, the great grip. And so I kept a normal earthing wire. I put it in the screw here. It's a good mess point. And the cable is going to my basic floor earth. It's mounted since years. Maybe you can see it here. It's mounted since years to earth my experiments. Well, please note, very important, you don't need any earth contact inside the pyramid. So all the construction is not connected with the earth. The outside earth is only for your security and to help the pyramid to swing up. So it's a metal frame, and sometimes it can happen that the metal frame is loading up, and if you touch him, you get a real great shock. Well, now we earthed everything, and now, the moment of truth, we will try to get a little bit of electricity out of the pyramid. Okay. Let's become dreams true. What I'm trying first is to make a short circuit between all. Sorry, the smoke is my cigarette, it's not coming outside of the pyramid. You should be a little bit careful, because if there is no load on all the system, there can be a lot of static power inside, so we have to be a little bit careful. I every time start with the inner coil, the minus coil. It's not that dangerous, and you can keep it the other side of the wire, not on the metal, on the plastic. And sometimes if you come too near, you feel a little bit, or you get a very small, okay, there's no ignition, it's good. So we have connected here. And the second try to make a little bit of short circuit. Maybe you heard it, you saw it. That's not very good, because we have some static inside, and we have to bring the static away, because normally this should not happen. Normally this should not happen if everything is connected to the ground. So I have to check the ground, of course, because in this situation it's a little bit too dangerous for me to work on this system now. And of course we have a resistor, a special shunt resistor. We have to unload the whole system to make it absolutely empty, because I want to show you how to swing it up. Because in most cases, at 99 attempts, you get one attempt where you can have a little bit static on the beginning, but in most cases you will see, if you install the pyramid like this installment now, there will be happen absolutely nothing. You will get nothing on your multimeter, and I want to show you to start the pyramid, because this now in this moment is nice for me if we have a little bit static here inside, but it's not good for demonstration. Okay, now it's very important to put all the static energy out of the coils, because sometimes for transportation, and if you make a new setup, it can happen that you have some static voltage, static power in your pyramid. And as you saw before, we were able to make a small ignition, and it's too dangerous to work with the pyramid if it's not absolutely unloaded. And in fact, the next very interesting thing is, in 99 cases when you install such a new pyramid, you will get absolutely no output. So when I make pyramids, it's really in my whole life the second time that I get some voltage output directly when I install the pyramid the first time. And I think it's not very good in the video to show you a thing running from the first moment. So we will overload the pyramid, we will short circuit the pyramid, that we get empty coils. Please note, it's very, very important, never unload a pyramid with a short circuit. So we do crocodile clamps, make a short circuit, will destroy with 100% security your crystals inside. So you need every time a user. In this moment I have some 12 volt 60 watt H1 glowing lamp from Cars. You can see it here. I mounted it with my crocodiles, and now I will install it. First we keep the minus, of course, if we can call it minus. Second, we keep the plus. So maybe you saw it, there was a very small point ignition, but there is no energy, there is lighting, nothing. So this is the best scenario for starting. Please believe me, if you have energy from the first moment, it's too easy. So we will unload everything here inside, we will unload the coil, and of course it's not a joke if you make some experiments with these two kinds of coils. There can be a little bit of so-called rest energy in the coils, And to start a proper setup, it's the best idea to ground it and to short fuse it. But, as I told you, not short fusing without user. Okay, if we fused it, in this case for 10 to 15 seconds, we can open it, and now I think we can handle it without any danger. Okay, that's the most important thing. But if you have some energy from the beginning, from the starting on, it's a very good thing, because you have the early success. But we don't need this early success. I want to show you how to make the stable success. So, something else we can try. We'll keep DC, we will keep to 200 volts, and of course we need our crankies again. So, and we connect them to the multimeter to show if we have a little bit energy, to see what we have. So, what do we have? We have something like nothing, and let me show 20 volts 00 current on. This is nothing. Okay, these are the neon lamps here inside, and all the kinds of wires. Maybe some radio station, I don't know. I hope you can see it. Now we have 0.9 to 1 millivolt. This is nothing. This is absolutely nothing. Well, I told you it's very necessary to synchronize the two coils. And now we can make, with these two coils, we can make some experiments. We can cut them a little bit while we let the multimeter stick down. I hope you can see it. So now we can make some tries, because the great story about the capacitor is that he have to swing too. And maybe you know it from amateur radio or from CB. If you have some swingings, if you have some frequency, for frequency it's absolutely necessary to get harmonic. So in the amateur radio we call about SWR, standing wave. So if you produce an antenna, it's very important that all the energy is going out, all the swingings, all the frequencies going out. And if there will come too much back, you have some problems. And it's a little bit the same here. It's like a radio, you have to adjust it. And it's a little bit tricky to adjust it, because you have the two coils and you don't know where to start with cutting the coils. Of course, you can make it very, very very proper. You can make measurements before you wind the coils. But as you see, we have on the other side, we have here now the greater distances. This wire from the reactor to the coil, everything is added to the end length. And so it's not very sinful to write everything proper on centimeters or an inch and to wind it proper. On the end, you have to cut a little bit. That's the problem. Well, and now we have two problems in one, because it can happen that we can cut and cut and cut, but we were too short from the beginning on. But it's normally not possible, because we are every time longer than before, because we have the way from the vertical coil to the horizontal coil. So normally we have to cut something. When I built the two coils, I took very great care to make the coils approximately 2 or 3 centimeters straight together. So in my case, I will pick a little bit the coil. I will start with the black one, and I give them a small amount, and then I look to the multimeter. If we